Today I have the Raptor 35 and Raptor 37. Now I've done a video similar to this last year on the 2024s, but I had some issues with my camera that day, so I didn't really finish that video. But today I want to touch on a few more things. I borrowed these trucks from Ken Ford here in West Valley. Be sure to ask for Ken. Let's go ahead and check out the window stickers first, and then we'll jump into the video. Starting with the Raptor 35, here are the specs at the very top. The standard equipment, be sure to pause. And then down below, this is the 801A equipment group. So this is a standard Raptor. As far as the options go, this one does have the twin panel and the tough bed. Base price comes in at $79,005. Destination is $1995 with a total price of $83,090. This is the Raptor 37. At the very top are the specs, standard equipment, and then here are all the options. So this does have the 802A equipment group for $11,470. Twin panel, the only missing is the spray-in. Destination comes in at $1995 with a total price of $93,865. Now obviously the only difference between these two trucks is that 802A equipment group on this F150 Raptor. So is it worth spending that much more money for 37s, right? That is the question. Now, one thing you'll notice on the front end, not much really changes until you get a little bit closer. I just did a video on the trimmer 802 and 801A equipment groups, and one thing that I noticed is that they actually gave the 802A trimmer more beefier skid plates. So I wanted to check that really quickly. There is no difference between the skid plates on these two trucks from what I can see here. But one thing that you will notice is this 802A does have the modular front bumper, whereas this one just has the performance Raptor bumper. So just a little bit more aggressive. Also, you can see the 802A does have better ground clearance too. So this one does sit higher, obviously because of the taller tires, and we'll talk about that more here in a second. Now as you get a little bit closer, even on the base Raptor, you do get front parking sensors, front camera, which also has a sprayer to clean it off, clearance lights on the front end, you have that Sport Performance hood, and carbonized gray looks pretty sexy on this truck. Active grille shutters. Now as far as the recovery hooks go, check them out. They're basically loops and they're adequate for sure. Let's check out what you have on the 802A equipment group. So you can see they're a little bit more beefed up on this truck for sure. And same story, all the same stuff. They also have the projector style headlights that do bend if you go around corners. But the biggest takeaway on the front end is you have better ground clearance, especially for approach angle. So if you're doing some rock crawling or whatever, you're going to have a better approach angle with this Raptor 37 compared to this Raptor 35. Let's talk about wheels and tires. So here is the Raptor 35. This truck does have the BF Goodrich KO2 tires. These are the LT 315 70/17, so that's going to be a 17-inch wheel, 6 lug. And if you're wondering, how tall is this tire actually? So this tire is basically 34.4 inches tall, so it's not even a true 35. It is, however, 12.4 inches in width. So these are some pretty meaty tires, and at the end of the day, no one else really offers a tire larger than this in the segment. So if you go over to Toyota doesn't have, I don't think they even have 35s at all. GM doesn't have 35s. And of course, if you get the Ram 1500 RHO, that would have a similar tire size as this truck here. But this is where Ford likes to be the best. They offer a true 37-inch tall tire. Now typically 37 by 12.5s are typically like 36.5 in overall height, but that's a pretty big tire, and you can really tell just how big this tire is, but it's also a KO2 tire, and as I said, it's going to be a 37 by 12.5 17-inch wheel. Now you guys notice this does have the B-lock wheels standard. I don't know how much B-locks cost compared to regular wheels, but I'm pretty sure they're probably potentially double the cost. So that is one good thing. So if you are someone in need of B-lock wheels, the 802A does give them to you from the factory. As far as the width goes, however, what do you guys think? These are 37 by 12.5s. Okay. And then these are the 34.5 by 12.4. These look a little bit wider though, I will say. Just a little bit. Now let's go ahead and turn the steering wheel so we can talk about the suspension. Starting off with the Raptor 35, this does have the live valve shocks. They've had these for a while. And check out these huge control arms. So down below, that is an aluminum lower control arm. And up top looks to be a steel one. So double wishbone, independent front suspension. That steer knuckle inside of here is going to be aluminum as well. So you have a single valve adjustment on this shock absorber, coilover setup. And then on this side, now notice how even the color of the shock does change. So you're gonna have the dual valves, and you can see those valves right here. You have 1 and 2. Okay. And pretty much the exact same coil setup. They don't look any different, but the only thing that I can see that changes is the color, and that you have the dual valves. But steer knuckle still aluminum, upper and lower control arms are the exact same. And you have that 5-link rear suspension out back. You can see on the rear too, you have a reservoir right there, and you have that single valve for the Raptor 35 compared to the dual valve setup here. Colors do change a little bit as well, and you have some of your links down below too, and that is all going to be the exact same. They do give you some protection right there for that shock absorber out back. And let's go ahead and walk back up front just so you guys can see. Nothing is going to really change for the overall exterior design for these trucks. This does have the graphics standard, and you can delete these if you don't want them. On both sides, mirror caps are painted. You have the lighting, cameras, blind spot monitoring, heated outside mirrors. Also, smart key system, painted door handles. Now they did take away the Raptor badge on these high clearance steps. Now real quickly, you guys just see the skid plates up front. Skid plates are going to be the exact same for both trucks, even for that 36-gallon fuel tank. You do have some protection there. And I don't know if you guys even notice, you can see that the Raptor 37 does sit a little bit higher in comparison. Standard bed, obviously, you cannot get a longer bed with the Raptors. Both trucks have the applique, and they have the full LED taillights, dual exhaust. They do have the matted finish on both sides for that bumper, parking sensors. Recovery loops are installed on the Class 4 hitch. You have a 7 and 4 pin, and you also have a power tailgate. 2,000 watts of power comes standard for both trucks. Bed lights, and they both have a camera above the bed for bed view. They also both have the workstation and this guy. Now if you want to see below, you guys did see that rear axle is a 410. It's going to have a locker, and then here is the spare tire. That looks to be a matching B-lock wheel on this side. And for this one, let's see. Yep, matching wheel for this one as well. So they don't skimp out even on this Raptor 35. And I think they both also have LED lights here too. So yeah, not much is going to really change. The only thing that this truck is missing is that spray and bed liner. That's really it. But no one really uses these trucks for work, so probably not a big deal, right? Applique. Let's go ahead and pop the hood and talk about the powertrain really quickly. Now you're probably wondering, does anything change on the powertrains? And the answer is yes, there is one powertrain available that you cannot get with the Raptor 35. So if you don't know, this truck's gonna have 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. You have to burn premium with this one. It's required because of the tuning of the engine, 10-speed transmission behind it. And this truck has the exact same powertrain, but remember, you can get the Raptor R, which gives you that 5.2 V8 supercharged engine, and that is available with the Raptor 37. Now granted, it's going to cost a lot more money than this truck, but this is considered Raptor 37, and that Raptor R is also too, so you do have two powertrain options for this truck. Let's go ahead and check out the interior, because this is where I missed something the last time. We're going to take this piece by piece. So this is the Raptor 35, and they do a good job. I mean, there's not a downgrade with this interior for sure. You have the B&O sound system standard, and you see how they give you that satin treatment on that door handle? That's standard. Auto up and down, power folding mirrors on the outside, seat memories, you have up to 3. The trimming here looks decent. Let's go ahead and check out the Raptor 37. So nothing really changes on the door with the exception of this. So you have that real carbon fiber, and most people probably would never notice the difference, but carbon fiber is expensive, and this is real carbon fiber, and it looks really good around this interior. Now check this out. On the side of the seat, they do give you more of that satin trimming that you saw on the door handle right there, and some chrome. But this truck does have the Recaro seats, so you guys see the bowstring has the suede inserts perforated throughout the seats in the center here. More bowstring on the side. You have that red and gray stitching. Tilt headrest right there. It says Raptor. And on the side of the seats, it does say Recaro. Let's check out the seats for the Raptor 35. You guys see the difference? So you just get regular seats. Now you still have that nice suede material, perforated leather, great bowstring. You still have that gray and red stitching, tilt headrest, but the seats inside of here, believe it or not, are actually a little bit more softer. These seats give you better support for skinnier people. And these seats are soft. Let's go ahead and jump in the seats for the Raptor 37. With the Raptor 37, these seats are a little bit stiffer. I wouldn't say a lot, but I would say they're probably about 20% stiffer. And they're built for bigger people. The bowstring on the sides of the seats are a little bit more spread apart. So I think bigger people will like this truck a little bit better. And as I said, the seats are just a little bit stiffer. And I'm okay with stiffer seats because I feel like on longer drives, softer seats hurt my back, especially the lower part of my back. So I like this one a little bit more so compared to the Raptor 35. Paddle shifters right there. You guys see the trimming on the steering wheel. Also, you have power steering column on both sides, power pedals. No sport pedals, however, for either truck, including the Raptor R. They are cheap at Ford, I see. More of the trimming on the side here. I'm just kidding. Actually, no, I'm not. They are cheap. And then you have heads-up display for both trucks and twin panels available for both trucks. You also have the workstation for both trucks. Actually, you have to turn the power on though. So this does flip down like this, and you can work inside the truck. Okay. And you guys see right here, they still give you the carbon fiber on this trimming. Here is the Raptor 35. Notice how they took away the design that you saw on the door there. They didn't do that for the Raptor 37, but they did the same thing for the trimmer and the Lariat trim package trucks. So yes, you do have a little bit more dressed down interior if you care about things like that. Dual climate control, heated and ventilated seat, heated steering wheel, 12-inch displays. You have the self-parking, you have all the off-road modes. By the way, do these trucks have an open diff on the front end? I think they used to have a LSD or torsion. I can't remember back in the day, but they switched to just an open diff. Now let me know in the comment section if that's the case. But nope, no change here. Same setup for both trucks. Here, let's go ahead and just check and make sure I'm telling you the truth. Here is that center armrest. No change. Exact same. The only thing different is that carbon fiber. Let's check out the passenger side. For Raptor 35, you can see more of that accent right there. By the way, they do change this. Let me show you the Raptor 37. It's just a little bit more premium, right? With more carbon fiber. Both trucks have those auxiliary switches. And then out back, let's see, on the Raptor 35, more of that interior trimming. So bottle holder, 60/40 bench. None of this is going to change really. Seat back pockets. Also, you have outboard heated seats, 120 volt power plug. You have a 12 volt and 2 Type-C USBs down there. They do provide armrest, power sliding glass, defrost, and because this is a 37, it's going to be the exact same. The only difference is the seating just slightly. Actually, hold on. Seating's the exact same. It's the exact same. You have the suede inserts on the sides of the seats. Yep, nothing changes. Okay. More of that silver or satin right up there. And that's going to be the same for both trucks. So let's go ahead and check out the numbers on the door. And then that will pretty much end this video. Raptor 35 has a gross axle weight rating up front at 3,800 pounds. The rear is 3,850. Gross vehicle weight rating is going to be 7,350 pounds. You guys see the axle code and how wide the wheels are, 17 by 8.5 wide. All-in payload is 1,330 pounds. The Raptor 37 has a front gross axle weight rating identical to the 35. However, they give you 50 pounds more capacity for the rear gross axle and for the gross vehicle weight rating. Wheels are 17 by 8.5 wide still. Axle code is the same, so nothing changes there. But you guys see the payload? 1,333 pounds. Now, hopefully you guys saw the tire pressure at 38 psi all the way around. I think that was the same for the other truck. But this is why I probably would go ahead and just get this truck. If you know you're going to run 37s, if you know you're going to add heavier wheels like these B-locks, I think that having that additional amount of, you know, GVWR is a good thing. I know it's only 50 pounds, but 50 pounds is 50 pounds, right? If you plan on towing a little RV or adding stuff to the bed, it's just nice to have a little bit more capacity. But I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let me know you guys' thoughts down below. Which one would you choose? See you guys soon.